in this video I am working on a art trade with my friend on Twitter, Sabadoodle, and she's an amazing artist and I adore her stuff, so I'm gonna put links to her stuff in the description below and here on screen so that you can find her. Maybe you want to commission her. She does really lovely stuff. And this is her character. Well, right now I'm working on the background, but this is an illustration of her Aura character from Final Fantasy XIV. That's what we did as a trade because we both play Final Fantasy XIV, and her character is just so cute and just beautiful, and I love her. Aura are like kind of like lizard people. Not like a lizard man like in Dungeons and Dragons, but they have like scale patterns on them and whatnot. You'll see, I'll get to it. And we actually both have Aura characters. Mine is more pale and white with different horns and different personality, all that. But that's who she drew for me, and I'll insert a picture of her right here. She's a dragoon. This is the illustration that Sabadoodle did for me, and I just love it to pieces. It's so cute and it really captures my character's personality. So I decided to use this art trade as an excuse to work on backgrounds because I really want to do full illustrations with a lot of background and a lot of depth, but I don't practice backgrounds very often, which is terrible. I really need to just pick photos and just try and copy them and figure out what works and what my tools are capable of and what tools I should be using. Like, I always have trouble with brush, which I was just working on, like these bushes. I think they turned out alright, but I definitely need to work on a better technique. But all in all, I love this illustration. I think it's great. I think these are some of the best rocks that I have ever drawn, and it really came down to hard edges on the rocks because otherwise they get too plasticky of a feel, and a lot of little cracks. Like, I just went in and tediously drew in tons and tons of little lines and cracks. And yeah, for me, illustrations with good backgrounds, I like for myself, I really like detailed backgrounds, and sometimes it really kills me. That's why traditional art can be easier for me sometimes, because with one paint stroke you can get a whole bunch of texture that is it really looks like something, whereas with digital art, the brushes, because you only ever get the same texture over and over again, it's hard to make it look good and natural. And I quite often only use the hard round and the soft round brushes. The textured ones just, I don't know, they look too unnatural, too uniform to me. But at any rate, I really like this. What I did for the ground, which I'm past now, but I was working on, was I just did a scumbling technique. So I just made a whole bunch of little circles, like I just scribbled little circles, and I started small at the back, and I just made those circles get larger and larger and larger towards the front, and that ended up giving it like the appearance of dirt and rocks and stuff that are receding into the background. So they're smaller towards the back and larger towards the front, and I think that turned out really well. And then I used the same technique with varying darks and lights. For the puddles, I just added dark in, and then with water, it's really important, and I learned this kind of late, but to make sure that the edges of the water are lighter. Like they're, I'm not sure exactly why, but in most illustrations that I see, the edges of the water catch the light. If you hear any noise in the background, it's my cats, because they like to wander around and make a ton of noise while I'm doing voice recordings, but I can't do much about that. Some of the other things I did to make this background more detailed and, in my opinion, better was I used a lot of bounce lighting. So the flowers, even the ones that aren't glowing, like clearly the ones that are blue and glowing, you know, they're casting reflections all over. But even the yellow flowers, I made sure to incorporate some yellow into the environment around them where it might be reflecting off of the wet ground. And I kept the ground really dark because I really wanted it to look like it was wet, like it had just rained and there's puddles still there and whatnot. And here you finally see me actually coloring in the character, and like I said, she's got such a gorgeous character. I love her, and like she's so recognizable, like her aesthetic and her appearance, because as you probably saw from my character, in Final Fantasy XIV, your characters don't all have to look the same at all. Like, her character has a green skin tone, and you can have a blue skin tone or a red skin tone, at least with the Auroch characters. And that's just amazing because I came from Final Fantasy XI, where you had cookie cutter models, and don't get me wrong, I love Final Fantasy XI. It is my first MMO love. I am still super nostalgic over it, but the character creation in this one is definitely way better. Like, her character is so personalized to her, and I would recognize it anywhere. I also absolutely love her outfit. It's so pretty, but oh my gosh, those details. I tried to keep the details accurate as much as I could, but it was just impossible to get every tiny detail, and I didn't want this to be a piece that was going to take me hours upon hours upon hours, so I just stuck with the somewhat larger brush to give more of an impressionistic look to the details. Like, you can see all of those, they're supposed to be like triangles and they're sharp like embroidery and whatnot, but I didn't go into any of that detail. I figured it looks good enough how it is, and I'm really enjoying it. You pull back from the image and it's really nice. We won't talk about the hands because at this point in time I was just finishing up, and like I said, I was practicing backgrounds, and I can spend an hour working on one hand. I can spend more than an hour working on one hand because it's really hard for me to get them right. So this was good practice, but I wasn't going to kill myself with it. I really enjoyed having an actual set color palette for this image. Like, I took her references, and as you can see, I just stuck a bunch of color blobs there, and I didn't stick exclusively to those colors, but I made sure that the image was primarily all of those colors, and I think it really lent to the overall illustration having a very cohesive look. Like the shading, all of it, I pretty much took from those colors, and even ones that it's not necessarily matching exactly what her reference was, it ended up making it look like oh gosh, it's hard to explain. It ended up making it look more cohesive in the image, and like the orange on her bangles, that could be a metallic color. It's just the different lighting giving it a different effect. I think I'm kind of rambling there, but I just didn't want it to be too rainbow. Although we have a rainbow picture coming up somewhat soon. I'm working on a new illustration for my banners all over the place, like my YouTube banner, my Patreon banner, etc. And there are some rainbows involved, and it's going to be really cool. I love how it's turning out. I'm also working on a set of bottle illustrations, so like cute little potion bottles that are going to involve some rainbows, especially because of the upcoming month. They're kind of themed. Hint, hint. And I hope to post those in June, at least by June 30th. And so, yeah, look forward to that. I am so excited about them because the sketches are turning out super cute. But I got off on a little bit of a tangent there. I was just painting in her face paint, which I think really brought together her, like, her facial features. Not her features so much, but the things that make her character, because she has this darker stripe across her character's eyes, and I just love it. It's so unique because I don't see a lot of people with that face paint, or if they do, there's a lot of different kinds of them. Some people have purple or yellow or what have you. My character has had various face paints, but never anything quite so bold. I usually go with like a blush look or something. But yeah, you can even do freckles. It's really cool. This is kind of coming across as a like go play Final Fantasy XIV kind of video, which I mean, feel free if you want to. I am I'm on the Siren server. And let me know if you guys do have a character, especially if you have a character on a Siren server, because I'd love to say hi. That would be really cool. See you guys' characters. Anyway, I think we're wrapping up here, and yes, I really love the way this turned out, and I hope that you guys like it too. I will be back with some more videos soon, and thanks for stopping by.